tailwinds at certain points. I know sometimes in like the city you get some gusts between buildings, just try to like ride through that and just keep the head down and keep contact with the guys in front.
How does that long hill from the Duke Ellington statue at 110th Street up to when you enter the park?
Oh, that's always the worst. I mean, I've actually caught guys both years I've run this going up that hill, but it's just not fun at all. It seems like it's a mile. I think it's only like a half a mile. I'm not even sure how long
it's more than half.
It's more than half. Okay, it seems so much longer, but actually ran over the course with one of the New York Roadrunner guys last year before the race, and just jogging over it feels like nothing. But in the race, it's a mountain.
Well, you must notice that actually even Central Park South, it's just right before you come in.
Oh yeah.
That actually is an uphill. I mean, most people think it's flat. It looks flat on TV, but it is.
Yeah.
It's slightly uphill.
And that's, I mean, it's
at that point is that.
No, you can definitely tell. It's good and bad at that point because like if the guys ahead of you are fading and they're hurting, if I'm feeling okay, I can actually make it a lot more ground up on them just because of the slight uphill.
What are some of the things you say to yourself when the times get tough during the race?
It's not so much like any mantras or anything that I repeat over to myself. It's more like I just start counting my steps. So I've been a numbers guy ever since I was young. My dad said count it. I studied accounting in college. So every time I just start feeling bad, I'm like, okay, got to count to 100 steps on my right foot, 100 steps on the left foot, and just that gets me through the miles a lot quicker if I just count to. I think I've normally come through 470 steps is about a mile. So that's just kind of something to help myself keep my steps going quicker and keep my arm cadence moving as quick.
470 in 1 foot's about a mile?
470.
Really?
Whether it's a hill or not a hill or uphill?
Uphill is going to be a little bit longer for sure. Downhill is going to be a little bit, or more steps, just because the cadence is a little bit quicker.
Did you come up with that on your own?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I do on a daily basis.
You just started doing it one time you're running?
Yeah. Just like, how can I pass the time? Because this run is taking forever. Like, let's start counting maybe. And other times I just start thinking about other races, like race splits when I'm in training. I'll think about, okay, well, am I going to be at mile 1 here? Probably going to be 5:30 to 5:40 going up the bridge, and then on the downside I'll be 4:50 and start adding up and keep going. Like, if I run my best day, what are these splits going to be? And just start adding numbers all the way through.
Yes, you might have already said, but what do you what is your best day on Sunday?
But what was my what?
What would be your best day on Sunday? What do you?
My best day would be to win. But I think I have a legitimate shot of actually finishing top 5 this year. Like if things go pretty well, it's always going to depend on that last 10K for me. That past 20 miles is going to be the biggest challenge. I've only gotten it right a couple times. But I've been to 20 miles on pace to run a big breakthrough a numerous amount of times. This will be my 18th marathon, so hopefully the experience will get me there to the finish line a little bit better.
If there was a trivia question that was like, name the American marathoner who has the most times under 212, but not under 210, that would be you.
Yeah. Yes.
What do you think has been missing in terms of getting under 210, and what can we do about this?
I'm not sure what's missing. I've been training different systems for the past 8 years. Like I was with the Hansons, I was with Greg McMillan for a while. Coaching myself right now, just trying to just figure out the right way to get myself as fit as possible going into these races.
Yeah.
When I was with the Hansons, the best I'd run was 2:13. Then I switched over to Greg and I started running 2:11. And I make it in those races being more aggressive, just running from the front, whereas Hansons is always just more of a pace race.
Yeah.
And then with Greg, I'd go out in 63 for the first half marathon, 64, and then just kind of fade the last 10K to the 2:11.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to run a lot more evenly as well, knowing that I can handle like the first half of the course pretty well. Just got to figure out how to get my legs responding well enough in that second half. I've negative split only once, and that was when I won the U.S. Championship when I ran 2:13. It was 66:50, 66:15, I believe. And then, just trying to figure out how to get that negative split going. Just
But you can't back off too much. I mean,
No, I can't back off.
64, but you don't want to back off to like 66.
No, I mean, that would just put me too far out of the game. Yeah. If guys in front do end up fading towards the end, I want to be able to catch them. So it's a fine balance. It's trying to find the red line to run at.
Who are you training with and where?
Up in Flagstaff, I got Team Run Flagstaff Pros, the group that I train with. I got a lot of guys who are a little bit out of college that are running half marathons, 5Ks, and even a couple marathons that I run with my daily runs. Do a lot of workouts on my own. Half of my workouts are with somebody else. There's also the Northern Arizona Elite team that's up there that I get a few workouts in with and a couple of easy runs. It's a good contingent of guys that actually come out to Flagstaff for like 4 to 5 week training stints, like the Oregon teams and like the Furman Elite teams. They get out there and get a mix of guys to run with every single day. So it's kind of nice to have company out on the easy runs, but I do kind of prefer doing workouts on my own. That way.
Well, I want to see the list. Seriously. So, I think it's a couple of us. Like, I mean, the list of 20 to 23 names.
Yeah.
I want to see that list.
The list of what?
He says he's come up with 20 to 23 people who might break 210 at the trials. So I'd like to see it.
Interesting.
The guys who have potential to break 210 at the trials that are on my list that I'm not going to count out to make the team.
Yeah, no, I think potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk a little bit about running New York. I mean, it's closer to the trials than
Yeah.
anything else. And how did you decide to run here, say versus Chicago or something else? And
I've always run well in New York, and I kind of like coming to this race. I figured there would be fewer Americans here, so I know I'd be able to come out and be in contention for a top American spot. So that was a big drive. After Boston, I knew I wanted to do another marathon. Boston was a big disappointment for me this year. So after missing the selection or not getting the call for the selection for the World Championship team or Pan American Games team, I knew pretty quick after Boston that I wasn't going to make either of those. Definitely just started looking around at what marathons made sense, and even though New York is 15 weeks till the trials, I never had any doubt that I'd be able to make that turnaround. I've done 8-week turnaround and had a decent marathon. I ran my PR about 15 or 16 weeks after running Chicago, so I know my legs can make the recovery, and as long as training is going well, like I can get myself fit enough to make the Olympic team.
You're the only American here.
In this group, yes.
Is that extra pressure for you?
No, I mean I've run. This is my, like I said before, this is my 18th marathon. I've run these majors about 8 times now, so it's usually myself, a handful of other Americans, and then a huge international field. So it's actually something I've gotten comfortable with, and knowing that these guys are, you know, PR-wise, minutes better than me. But like on the course like this, it can be a great equalizer having the hilly courses, and especially this year, the field is thinner. There's not as many Kenyans, not as many Ethiopians as there were even last year. So hoping that leads them to not be as aggressive early on, so I can actually stick with the group and get pulled along, kind of like not necessarily have to worry about setting my own pace throughout the race.
do you think they might go out slower? What was that last part?
Just because the field is a little bit thinner. There's only last year I was probably ranked 20th coming into the race. This year I'm ranked 10th, just based off PR. So there's not as many guys up front. I think would be.
But early on, you might have less people to run with, right?
Yeah, early on, if they go too hard, then I'm not going to, like I said, not going to make the mistake in Boston and start running 440s like I did there in the first few miles. I'm just going to have to wait and see type of a game. But I'm really committed to running 4:55 to 5 minutes on my own.
So Boston, you just went out too hard? Is that...
Yeah, I hit the wall super early. I almost ran a 15K PR and then just faded from there. I was 64:30 through the half and 67 or 73 for the second half. Just not very fun.
You said I'm going to go for it, or?
Yeah, I mean that day it was supposed to be super windy. That's what conditions we heard. And like, okay, I'm just going for the lead. The past few marathon majors, I'd run with the leaders as far as possible. I made it to 18 here last year. Made it to 16 miles at Boston the year before, so I figured I'd stick with them as long as possible. I'd worked on the hills a lot better, so I figured once I got to the hills, I can just ride with the lead pack as long as possible. And then right from the gun, they were just super aggressive going down the hill, 440 pace or so, and then I just made the decision right there. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stick with the guys because I don't want to run by myself in the wind. So stuck with them, just stayed with them as long as I could, and then got to mile 8 and just started getting into a small little gap, and then once the gap was big enough, my body just melted, and just physically I was done.
Do you compare your fitness coming into this to your other races, or how would you say you stack up?
This year is a little bit different. I actually had an injury at the end of August, so I had a few weeks in September where my mileage was pretty low and just kind of rehabbing my leg, but the past 5 weeks I'm probably I've been training a lot more for a half marathon and feeling a little bit more fit and ready to run a good half marathon. So I know I can carry that through at least 20 miles. And just hoping that my experience with the marathon gets me that last 10K this time around.
What was the injury?
Just a hamstring strain, mild strain.
Do you have a time goal in mind for Sunday?
Well, with the conditions, I think I have a chance of a PR even on a tough course like this. So sub 211 is the hope, not another 211.
I think you got enough time. Are you worried about the
Good
proximity
luck.
to the trial?